Christina, we're live.
Hello, welcome to Parker Live. My name is Christina Holtzhauser. I'm an executive assistant at Parker Staffing. For those of you who haven't joined a Parker Live before, the goal is really to put some good into the world. We're hoping that you leave feeling recharged and maybe even learn something new. Today, we have the founders of the Self-Health Institute from West Marin, Antonia Van Becker and Greg Lee. Welcome.
Hey, good to see you.
You too. Could you guys please start out by introducing yourself and sharing your background?
Yeah. So we started Self-Health Institute about 25 years ago. So we've been around for a while. And it's been a passion of ours for that whole time. And even before, we've always loved the idea of being able to infuse health and wellness into people's lives and into our family also and into our lives. So what we do is we work with people to help them be able to follow their dreams and clarify their objectives in life by being able to energetically heal blocks and limiting beliefs that have held them back. So that's what we're all about, and we love doing this. We create programs and we have online presence where we can invite people to come and share what we do.
Yeah, we started out working with people one-on-one, and we would really deal with kind of symptomatic issues in their bodies. If they have headaches or allergies or pain somewhere, and we would really work on healing their body. And as we went through time, we realized that so much of that was created, that pain or chronic disease was created by things that were going on in their brains. And so we really integrated how to work with the body and the mind to heal both places, get the issues out of the tissues, because once you clear the body of those energetic blocks and stoppages, then your neurological processes can really move forward and take on new, easier affirmative beliefs and start getting rid of some of the negative thought patterns that you've had in the past. So we really love to help people integrate their brain and their body, both working together.
I love that. Well, and I know we did a session and that was really awesome. That was very powerful for me. But I was just curious, it's called Core Talk. And I was just curious, how really that works. If you could share that.
Yeah, I mean, Core Talk is so interesting, and the name really refers to being able to get to core issues that are in our body and that have been created by the experiences that we've had in life. So what we really get to do is we literally talk to the body, and we teach people how to do this for themselves. And this isn't like some kind of untested thing that we develop. This is literally thousands of years people have been doing this. But when you look at where Core Talk came from, if you look at applied kinesiology or muscle testing, it's a way to use the body to reference if it's a yes or a no. So you can actually really talk to your body. So you can do this Core Talk and ask it what it wants to do, what's best for you in the moment, and if there's something wrong, how to fix it.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we use the energetic system of the body, the meridians and the chakras, and clear out all the stuck, negative emotions and limiting beliefs out of your brain and your body so that you can move forward being more you without being stuck in the past or worrying about the future. And it's really about getting to the fullest part of you and being full of yourself.
I love that. And I'm curious, because I had my own response. For me, I felt lighter. I also felt a little bit emotional, but I'm just curious, what is like a typical response after like the first session or the first few sessions?
Yeah.
It's so interesting because once a problem kind of disappears in your life and you get back to where things are easier, you don't remember the way it was. So we'll have people, and when we did a lot with our one-on-one work, we'd have people come in for a follow-up session and we would say, so how are you sleeping? They'd look at us like, well, what do you mean, how am I sleeping? I sleep fine. Okay, how's your digestion? Oh, my digestion's fine. Why do you ask? And we say, well, just looking on the sheet, you had digestive problems and you weren't sleeping well. So it's kind of like that, where once you get on the other side of what's happening. So for example, now with our program that we do online, that's really specifically for entrepreneurs and business owners to get past the blocks that are keeping them from reaching their goals,
Uh-huh.
they start to do things that they weren't doing before. So they start to take action and really be able to finish up on things. So
Yeah. And I think what you were saying, Christina, is really true for a lot of people, is that they feel lighter. They feel able to move forward faster. They find that things aren't in the way like they were before. And like Greg was saying, all of a sudden they're back at work. We had one person who she couldn't get motivated. She just kind of felt, a little dead in the water as far as being able to really get herself to be motivated to work. And she was a really high energy person.
transformational streaker.
Yeah. And we worked on her, and all of a sudden she was ready to she got back to work. She started doing her thing, being on Facebook, putting herself out there. And she felt really powerful and full after the session. So that's, you can either lose a symptom and forget about that symptom, and you can also have that lighter and, wow, can I move forward faster and easier now?
That's awesome. And that is very powerful. And I'm curious, how did you guys get started 25 years ago?
Or more.
Or more.
Even more than that. Well, we both had some symptomatic stuff as we were going through our corporate jobs in Silicon Valley. And we realized that the path that we were on was not really right for us. And it was literally making us sick.
Right.
And I had a pretty nasty, I had these symptoms that wouldn't go away for months and months. And it was serious. I'd lost a lot of weight. I'd gone to specialists, and
it was after an international trip he did, and he came home so sick.
Yeah. And I wasn't healing from it. And my doctor said, there's nothing medically wrong with you. And it was like, I decided I have to take this into my own hands. If I'm going to get better, it's going to be me who's going to do it. And coincidentally, that day of that appointment with the doctor, I went to Whole Foods because I was starving all the time. And a teacher from my massage class from many years earlier, who had done this energetic healing demo in the massage certification class, walked right up to me at Whole Foods. And I said, wow, I've been meaning to call you. And she said, I know, your pancreas is really in trouble.
What?
She was totally psychic. So I went in to see her, and in a 90-minute session that I did with her, my symptoms were completely cured. I never had a single gastrointestinal symptom again. And from that time on, I was like lit up. I wanted to learn how to do this. And a couple of years later, we both quit our corporate jobs. We did the certification course with her. And it was really a passion of ours that had been all of our lives, is health. But that was the beginning.
Yeah. And I had a similar, well, it was kind of dramatic situation also, because I had a lot of stress in my childhood and stuff. And I would get bronchitis or pneumonia in college. And I also had like really bad stomach issues. And moving forward, working in Silicon Valley, long hours, we'd pass the babies off at the airport, as we went on our various business trips. And I was pregnant with our second daughter, and I was out raking leaves in the fall, and I got a blister on my hand. And, so what, the blister, and I ignored it and went about my day, and got up the next morning, and I had an appointment because I had bronchitis at the time and I was on antibiotics. And so I had an appointment with the doctor, but I had a few things to do, and I started getting more and more dizzy and not feeling good. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go to my appointment early. And I went to the doctor, and I'm checking the bronchitis and stuff. And I said, oh, and I have this blister and my hand's really swollen. And he said, take off your jacket. And I took off my jacket, and I had a red line going all the way up my arm. So I had blood poisoning that was already most of the way up my arm. And he says, we need to get you, antibiotics right now. And at that moment is when I realized I don't have control over my situation, over my body, or how my body's reacting. I don't have control over my health. And this is impacting not just me, but my unborn baby and my family. And that's when it was, so huge for both of us to just say, you know what, we need to take control of this for ourselves. We need to change these outcomes that we're having. And that's when we got really serious about, okay, what are we going to do about the jobs? How are we going to build a life that really sustains us and sustains what we want to do and what is nourishing for us? And that's how we were like, okay, this healing work, this is what we want to do and bring to people, to bring healing back into everyone's hands so that they can heal themselves and take care of themselves and their families and their communities. And that's what we love to do.
Well, I love that. Well, that's a major change to make. And I mean, it's awesome that you guys took the leap and you're doing this and you're just having such a positive impact on people's lives and bodies and productivity. And I want to make sure we dive into the topic today. So I wanted to know from you guys, what are 3 ways that, people can save their sanity at work?
Yeah. You want to do the first one?
Sure. One of the most important things about being able to be in a situation where you don't control everything is to control what you can. So one of the techniques, and this is just ancient wisdom, but every generation has to learn it if they want to be able to have some anchor into their reality in the moment. And that's your breath. And it's so simple, but it's something that people don't really think of. And to be able to, in the craziness of the moment, when there's so many things going on, to take a healing breath and to be able to really feel yourself. How do I feel? What's going on right now? Am I here in my body? Sometimes we go off so much into places that don't have anything to do with what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So that the breath is what really brings you back. And that's like a basic core health practice that everyone can use. And I mean, we even have people when they come and start working with us, especially in our classes, where we'll have them put sticky notes up, and one might be breathe.
Yeah. I actually had to work on that myself. I was always a very shallow breather. And so I would just it's like being in your head all the time. You're just thinking from here up. Well, I was breathing from here up. And so that's so important to bring it into your body. And what that conscious breath does as well is brings us to the second point, which is that it helps you be right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And that's a hugely important point about being able to control yourself in a situation when maybe everything else is not controllable. But if you can be right with yourself in the present without worrying about the past or without stressing out about what's going to happen in the future, if you can be right here, right now, the responses that you can give to what is going on can be true responses to you and really measured with what you want, what your outcomes, what you want those to be right here, right now. And what's the third one?
Well, and just a note about the second one, it brings so much value to your workplace. So you become a really a valuable consultant for people because you're in the moment. You're actually able to hear what they're saying. You're actually able to take in, how do I feel about that? What can I do about that? Instead of, being so lost in either what was happening before or what you have to do in the future.
And also that's a huge component about listening, right? If you're in a conversation, you have to be right here, right now in order to listen and to take care to understand what the other person is saying. And if you're thinking about, what you're going to say, or what you should have done, or what that thing is going to happen this afternoon, you're not listening to your client or to your boss or to your coworker. And they know that. If you're not listening, they get it. You're not fooling anyone. And so being right in the present, right here, right now, is when you are with people, you are making those relationships that are strong and that can serve you and them in the future.
It reminds me a little bit of like mindfulness. My mom just got certified a couple years ago, and as a coach, and she teaches me a little bit about that. But it just kind of reminds me of, she's all about centering, trying to be present, and I love the breath.
Yeah,
I really love that.
Yeah.
and then the third one
is all about not letting people's sticky energy get to you. And it really has to do with people trying to manipulate you. So to know when that energy is coming in from someone, and to know, they're either trying to get me to say something, not say something, think a way that they want me to think, or not think about something that they don't want me to think about. And it's something that people do unconsciously.
Yeah.
Mostly. There are some people who are not as great to be around, who are consciously trying to manipulate others. But it's also great to see in the relationships between an employee and a boss, and to be able to, as the employee especially, if that boss is kind of being sticky energy and trying to manipulate you, you can actually say back to them, so let me say what I think you're saying. And it's a nonviolent way to actually get to the point, versus trying kind of cuts through the manipulation.
Mm-hmm. And so the important part of that is to really understand where you are with people, right? And people do this unconsciously all the time, but bringing it up to a conscious level where you're saying, oh, that's interesting. When I'm talking with that person, it feels like they're trying to get, I feel this kind of pulling energy. They want me to do something. They want me to say something. And take a note. It's as simple as that. Oh, that person is doing that. And what do they want me to do or not do? And just, refining the relationship that you have so that you understand, is this person giving me their heart? Are they listening? Are they doing all this other stuff? Or do they have some ulterior motive in mind, whether or not it's conscious? But are they trying, so just, refining your perception of the relationship is so important to really having good, solid relationships at work with coworkers or partners or your boss or anyone. It really can bring a lot of wisdom into how you can react when those people are acting in certain ways. So just watching out for people's sticky energy is a really helpful way of knowing where you are in your workplace.
I love that. Well, and I also love like the recap tip too. So that, we know, like, because I've sensed it, I've felt that from people in the past, and then it's nice to know what to do with it. So that's really helpful. So we're almost out of time. This really flew by, guys. Thank you so much for being here and just sharing about what you do, and just sharing these tips. This is really helpful. It's been such a positive experience.
Thank you so much, Christina, for having us.
It's really fun.
Absolutely. And it would be great. I know our viewers are going to want to connect with you. Where can they find you online?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can. Should we send them to the switch, or?
So our website is selfhealthinstitute.com, and it's self-health, not
Health.
Yep. So selfhealthinstitute.com. And we have you can do / what is it?
The switch.
The switch, right. I was going to say the gift. It's a gift, but it's called The Switch. And it's a really cool download about how to get out of your issues in the moment and how to just switch your mood and get back to work. We also have a Facebook group called Entrepreneurs Success Lounge. And in there, we have a lot of networking and promotional possibilities. People can go in and show off their wisdom, off their knowledge about being an entrepreneur, and share with other entrepreneurs in there. That's the Entrepreneur Success Lounge Facebook group.
It's really a great group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of new, but we're just launching it and a lot of people interested.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that and sharing that gift. I didn't know you guys were doing that today. That's really sweet of you.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice seeing you guys again. I hope I see you soon. And thank you to everyone out there for watching today. Please watch our Facebook page. We'll be announcing their next Facebook Live soon. Thank you.
Christina. Bye.
Bye.